Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a Triple B Wrestling Review WrestleMania 39 Night 2 Fight. I'm your host, Howard Blues, here, as always, with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Kidder, how you doing tonight?
Well, Howie Blues, you know what? I'm doing all right. I'm here. We're through another show. And we have a lot to talk about this evening.
Yeah, we do, Kidder. And I'm hoping we don't go like 2.5 hours like we did last night.
Yeah.
But I'm prepared. I got some rest. I may have been drinking, like a high-powered energy drink a little bit earlier. Something to make sure I could get through this show. Something
brisk?
No, not brisk.
Okay.
Not brisk. Something because I'm getting older. I'm not fully in my prime like I used to be.
Like when we started the show 2 years ago, is that what you're saying?
Well, it's all been downhill since then.
Yeah. Well, that is true. But on the plus side, we're here. It's another night. It's time to talk about the show and the things that we do. And what better way to do that? Talk about the show, talk about things that we have going on here at Beer Blues and BS, but by telling everyone joining us, what do we do here?
Oh, you're throwing it back to me.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is one of our classic Triple B wrestling reviews. Kidder watched the show. I didn't because I have kids, and it makes finding the time to get away and actually see the show near impossible these days. So Kidder watched the show. I have not. I've also kept myself away from any and all spoilers, so I don't know anything that just happened here at WrestleMania Night 2. Which is important because for years now, Kidder and I have played a little prediction game, taking and seeing who can do the best at predicting the outcomes of the matches of the pay-per-views now known as premium live events. Kidder always locks in his picks before the show starts, and because I don't watch any social media or any, I avoid spoilers at all costs. I get to actually call my predictions here live, so you get to see me sweat as I try to determine who's going to win. And this is all for bragging rights. And no, I don't mean the long-defunct pay-per-view. I know I made that joke last night, but it's a good one. It's classic. But before we can get into that and our review of the action and all of those good things, we start every show with a little segment called What's on Tap.
Woo!
Kidder, what's going to be the lubrication keeping those vocal cords going as we go through tonight?
Wow. Oh, man. Well, let's see. I should dig into the Triple B fridge right away. Let's pop this thing open. I have several things to choose from. Since they were in Southern California, let's go with this thing that looks like it's a little bit fruity. In fact, it's a citrus wheat, a low-cal twist from Shells. I don't know how this is going to be, and I don't know if I'll survive this, and it might, obstruct my ability to actually talk about this show. But this is 98 calories, 3.9% alcohol by volume. It's from New Ulm, Minnesota. Again, the Shell Brewing Company, August Shell Brewing Company. Don't want to miss out on that important word there at the beginning. And you can find them online at shellsbrewery.com. The citrus wheat is a lager with natural flavors and grapefruit and orange. So there's that. I do have a can koozie for this, as you know. It's a very special can koozie to celebrate the Colorado Avalanche winning the Stanley Cup. The Stanley Cup Finals. So let's pop that in there. Look at that. Fantastic. And as I'm opening this up, I'm guessing you have some kind of a beverage ready to go, and it isn't the bottle of Ice Hole again?
Oh, you mean this lovely bottle of ice. Kidder, it's night 2 of this. For
Very
those who
citrusy.
didn't. Oh, yes.
Scent there, yeah. Synthetic.
How's the taste?
It's like sparkling water and seltzer that were dumped together and then left out for a day and then set next to a couple oranges and a grapefruit.
That doesn't sound pleasant, Kidder.
No.
Doesn't sound pleasant at all.
0.5 just for the effort.
Yeah. No, Kidder, I am continuing the game that I was playing last night. If you didn't join us last night, I have this bottle of salted caramel ice hole schnapps. And every time that I get a prediction wrong, I am taking a shot of this drink. And I'm going to hope I do better than I did last night. Because, I mean, it's not bad. I like the butterscotch ice hole better. It's a little bit more salty than I prefer, but that is the plan for tonight. So, Kidder, because it's what's on tap, cheers. Get that initial one in.
He's going out on the bottom.
When it could just go further and further as the bottle empties.
Great.
But hey, while I'm still lucid and not affected by the ice hole, a couple of things. If you are a regular to Beer, Blues, and BS and all of our offerings and these wrestling reviews, you might notice, again, this is the second night that we are live, and this is going to be the format going forward. So if you are catching this on a replay later, I'm letting you know, if you ever want to be a part of the show, well, tune in after the event. We'll be live streaming, recording this, but you can participate. You can have your a chance to chat with us. We have a chat open, so you can share your comments. We'll read them out, and you get to be part of the show. So it's something to keep in mind. And also, if you just want our wrestling content over on YouTube podcasts, you can subscribe to the Triple B Wrestling Reviews and get solely our wrestling content. So if you like the stuff that you were going to get to hear tonight, well, there you go. A way to hear more of us. And I got to throw in one more cheap plug, as I have to do, because this whole live streaming thing is a new adventure for us. But we're viewing this as a practice run because on April 7th, we are celebrating the 2-year anniversary of Beer, Blues, and BS, and we're doing it live. So, yes. So April 7th at 9:30 p.m. Central Time, you can sit back, pour yourself a cold beverage, and join your two good brothers as we celebrate 2 years of this thing we call a podcast. Yeah.
It just seemed like the thing to do.
Yeah. Can you tell Kidder I've been dealing with little kids like all day today? I mean, I'm just like I'm like in my showman's voice. I'm like, let's go. It's the most adult conversation I've had today.
Let's get this. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, but for those of you joining us, and I'm all over the place here. I'm in Command Central. We don't have some fancy producer over here to push buttons and do the things in the background, We got to do this live, so type in the comments to get in the reaction and the Facebook posts and making sure that we're streaming and Howard doesn't have bubbles over his face or anything like that. So,
I mean that would be terrible. Kidder's a pretty good director with this, making sure we don't, put in any like product placements, for companies that haven't sponsored us, things like that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. I guess we'll see how that goes the rest of the night. But let's probably start it off because we might have a person or two actually joining us here this evening who wants to talk a little wrestling.
I will say, Kidder, we should probably, I agree that we should move on to, but one little thing to note, if people haven't, if you watched last night and you're joining us now, as an update, we were playing the prediction game. It's carrying over to tonight. We have a 3-way tie between Kidder, myself, and Rudeboy Kyle. Now, you might be saying, where's Rudeboy Kyle? Is he not showing up to this shindig? He may join in for a part. We're hoping he does, but we will find out between the three of us. Since we started these shenanigans, we'll find out between the three of us who the big winner of WrestleMania 39 is. So I just wanted to refresh. People have the scores since we no longer have El Scoreboard.
Right. Thank you for that. I probably could have figured out a scoreboard of some kind, but, technology and doing all of that as we do things. So it is what it is.
Kidder, yes, we probably could, but you're already running all of the other things to make this show happen. Please allow me to use my piece of scratch paper to keep score and relieve you of some of the responsibilities of this show.
Is it a prime piece of paper? Do we have the NFT for that?
Actually, Kidder, here's a fun throwback to anybody if you've been pausing and trying to see. This actually is the letter I wrote up for the episode "Sorry, Not Sorry," where we apologized to the Munchkin Guild.
Glad that letter's finally coming into play and actually getting some use.
It technically it has. Past score sheets and other things. This is a treasure trove of a piece of paper, and this is, unfortunately, is probably its last night with us. It's also serving as our DraftKings screwy finish of the night graphic as well.
Careful, don't put that up yet. We haven't even started. We don't want to confuse anybody.
I'm just getting people used to this. It's not the usual thing. We don't have the sound effect. Although I could probably get the sound effect machine. I just have to dig it out of my kids' stuff. Anyway, future problems and things for us to deal with. Anyway, enough stalling. We should probably get to WrestleMania 39 Night 2.
Yeah, it's only been, 15 minutes. So, here we go. First of all, as we forgot to talk about last night, the stage, the setup, the graphics, etc. You see some of the graphics right here. I do have to say, the Mania graphics package, very nice, very shiny, very film-esque. I like the grandeur of it, so I give them props for that. The stage, it was huge, but in that venue, it didn't look that big at all. And in my opinion, there weren't enough lights, there weren't enough lasers, if there even were any lasers, because you couldn't see them, and not enough video screens. So, there's that. The overall set. In SoFi Arena, they have a giant LED ring suspended from the ceiling, so that serves as both a fascia ring for graphics for the arena, but also a video board. So that was already there and nice, and then WWE had a huge lighting setup that kind of looked like a light tornado above the ring. So I dug that. The themes, but the longer you listen to it, the more it gets stuck in your head. So it was a little bit better there. Tonight we started off WrestleMania 39 Night 2 with America the Beautiful once again. And this evening we have a new singer, Jimmy Allen. No idea. Sang America the Beautiful. At one point, he even stopped and didn't sing part of the song. And then belted out the remainder of the song. It was not good. WrestleMania opening video. It was a different video, so I give them props for making a different video. And on top of it, well, it was my Kevin Hart video there. So it had the same Kevin Hart humor in there and a little banter with the announcer guy and whatnot, but that's how it is. Quick note in the chat, Marco joining us there, and his quick thoughts that the event flew by and a little bit difficult for him to recall. The opening match, which we'll get to in a little bit, was Brock Lesnar and Omos with MVP. So we'll talk about that. And then Stacy Keibler looking fantastic. I cannot disagree. Marco, thanks. You have a good night, too. And we appreciate you listening, tuning in, joining us for the commentary, as it were. Any quick thoughts on the graphics package or I know you haven't really heard the theme there, Howard, but it's got a little...
Yeah, no, I haven't seen any of that, really, except for when I was looking for some graphic elements to make our thumbnails. And, you get a lot of fan-made stuff that's trying to, like, emulate what the official graphic package is, because people don't have the exact one and they want to use it in a certain way. I mean, a lot of, like, what we do.
What?
Yeah, like if you've looked at our thumbnails, we try to kind of hit the theme, but we don't have all of the assets and such that they do. So I couldn't tell you what's an official graphic or not versus the little package you put at the beginning of the stream and the thing I see over your shoulder.
Yeah. There it is. That's about all you need to see. I think we showed the set a little bit, or maybe not. No, we didn't really get to see that. Did you get to see the set at all?
No, in fact, I was trying to find one, and there were a bunch of people who had designed their own like WrestleMania 39 set in like WWE 2K23.
Perfect.
And so like it's like, yeah. So no, I can't even say that I've seen the set. I got nothing, kidder. I'm in the dark. Mm-hmm.
So I will say, I start describing the first match here, and we discuss our predictions and whatnot. If you have an open tab, jump over to the WWE Facebook page. They did a debut video. Oh, no.
Listen,
you don't, because then you're going to get spoilers, and we all hate spoilers. So after the show, your task is to go to the WWE Facebook page and then watch the thing and then write it in the comments. Speaking of the comments, Smalls is joining us in the comments. So, Brother Smalls, thanks for tuning in. Love having you here. All right. So here we go. Right at the top of the show, Michael Cole welcomes everybody again. It's Michael Cole and Corey Graves. As we know, they are the primary commentators for the premium live events for WWE. Then Snoop D-O-double-G's music starts playing, and Miz and Snoop Dogg playing a little music and jamming in the center of the ring. They talk a little bit about last night and the excitement that we talked about last night. And they fire everybody up. So, they introduce the Spanish announce desk as well, and Omos and MVP make their way down to the ring. Then they show the tail of the tape. You know, it has both of the wrestlers on there and all their stats, including a triple E or 18 triple E shoe size for Omos, which apparently is the size of a soup bowl in width. I don't know why Michael Cole used soup bowl, but there you go. Then Brock Lesnar made his entrance, smiling, pyro. Love it. Good to go. So before we talk about the match itself, we do our predictions. And this evening, since Rudeboy Kyle may or may not be joining us in the show, I'm not sure how much he actually saw either, but I chose Lesnar. And then our bonus question for this, with Lesnar and all of his matches, we like to guess the number of suplexes that will be thrown by Brock Lesnar during the match, and I pick 2. As for Rudeboy Kyle, got to go back on over here. Let's see here. We have Brock Lesnar and 4 suplexes.
Huh. Well, I'm going to just say this right now, Kidder. I in my head, I was thinking Lesnar has thrown less and less suplexes lately, and so I was going to guess 2, but since you already took 2, do I go 3 and wedge myself between you guys, or do I just, you know what, $1, Bob? I'm going to say he throws 1 and only 1.
$1.
It's a guess, and I will say as to who's going to win the match, Kidder, Lesnar should win the match. I like Lesnar better than Omos. However, I think Lesnar is a little bit on the way out, and I think they need to build Omos up. I think they're going to have Omos beat Lesnar.
Okay.
That's my pick, and I hope I'm right, so I don't have to drink more ice hole.
All right. Well, the predictions have been locked in. Also, just to mention, as we will discuss a little bit later, again as a refresher, but tonight's attendance, 81,395 inside SoFi Arena. So we start off the first match of the evening. It's a singles match, and this match is 4 minutes, 55 seconds. Michael Cole noted that this is Brock Lesnar's 12th WrestleMania match, and Lesnar's got the happy, psychotic Brock. I don't know if you've noticed that in some of the promos and whatnot, but Lesnar's being himself. So, right away, bell rings, Lesnar goes and tries to shoulder tackle, and, Omos is being Omos and no selling it. Omos ended up body slamming Lesnar, and Lesnar stood up. Then Omos clubbed him, and MVP shouting, "You own him." Omos started punching him, gives him a bear hug, and this match, about a minute in, is already kind of boring. Omos drove Lesnar into the corner of the ring and then released the hold because, of course, the official was actually doing his job. Omos was yelling at the crowd and then got booed, and then Omos body slammed Lesnar again, and then picked him up, put him in another bear hug. Lesnar was able to get out, though, charged at Omos, who then grabbed him and choke slammed Lesnar. Cole said Lesnar's being manhandled in a way that he'd never seen before. Well, then Lesnar charged Omos, who hit his head on the ring post casing. Lesnar took Omos to Suplex City. There's 1 suplex. He took him back to Suplex City again. There's 2 suplexes.
Damn.
And then he grabs Omos again. It takes him back to Suplex City again for a 3rd. Lesnar tries to hoist Omos up for an F5. His back gives out. Omos tries to go for his finisher. Lesnar counters, puts him up into the F5. 1, 2, 3, Lesnar getting the pinfall victory in 4 minutes, 55 seconds over Omos. Lesnar sold the back pain, walked down the ramp, and MVP was telling Omos to relax. Smalls, what'd you think of that? I know Marco might just be listening, but any comments? Join us in the comments. Tell us your thoughts. Well, Howard has to deal with the drink.
I got to drink 2 because 1, I was wrong on how many suplexes. 2, I'm wrong on who won the match. So here's the first one.
This is going to be a good night.
Kidder, yeah, it's going to be a night. That's for sure. And I just got to say, this doesn't sound like a great match. It does not sound like a great opener.
No.
It, I don't know what it is, but it kind of seems like if Brock is not in the main event, it just seems like his matches are kind of dialed in. Yeah. There's a hot take for you. But here's the one for Omos.
There you go. I mean, my hot take is still the hot take I've made several times before, but Omos has the personality of a wet sock, and again, wrestles like a wet paper sack. I know I made that comment about Dominik. They're both in the same camp, although Dominik has more talent. Not by much.
You know, it's one of those things. And as I said, Lesnar should have won. You know, when I made my prediction, you have Omos. You're kind of trying to build him as this unbeatable giant, but I don't know. He hasn't really won on his own on the main stage, so I don't know. What are you gonna do with him? Is he all of a sudden gonna become the Invincible Giant?
Yep.
Or I mean, because if he's not the Invincible Giant, I don't
turn into the new Great Khali.
Yeah, I mean, and that was terrible
because he's 7.5 feet tall.
Yeah, it's
Small
just
says, "Damn," and Marco says that he did us a favor. Biggest waste of time is Omos.
I mean, I totally agree. As I said, I don't like Omos. I just kind of figured, this would be a great push for him if you're gonna build him into something. Mm-hmm. Have him beat Lesnar. But I mean, this doesn't. Yeah, this. Yeah. Anyway, I think we've spent more time on this match than it truly deserved.
And its actual runtime, correct. So there were some ads. Then Cole said that the venue was sold out again, even though last night was sold out as well. And now it is time for the 4-way tag team showcase WrestleMania match for the women's tag teams. This features Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shotzi versus Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. Again, a 4-way tornado tag team showcase, so there can only be 2 wrestlers in the match in the ring at once, which is stupid, and it's women's tag match with 4 teams there. So my pick was Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, Rudeboy Kyle on the same list with that.
Man, and now that I'm going to just sound like I'm jumping on the bandwagon, but truthfully, Kidder, I'm not excited about any of these teams, and I was going to go with Rousey and Shayna Baszler because Shayna Baszler is from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, as we all know, the better Dakota. So I was going to go with that team.
All right. Well, in any case, as I come over here and find this, this match was 8 minutes, 25 seconds long. It felt longer. So right away, Morgan hit a code breaker on Sonya Deville, and then everything just went downhill from here. There were a couple big spots, which I will highlight. Raquel Rodriguez was all smiles, and Natalya took her down with a head scissors, but came back, and then Natalya tagged in Green for whatever reason, and then a missile dropkick on Rodriguez, who just let Green bounce off her, no-sold it. Shotzi came in to try and pin Chelsea Green, and then Baszler ran in, broke it up, and this is all back and forth. Raquel Rodriguez, just like last night with Lita, and the comment on how it looked like Lita was wrestling in slow motion. Tonight it was Raquel Rodriguez. Everything looked like it was in slow-mo for whatever reason. And I don't know. And we got a new subscriber there. Fate Alter. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Just got that notification there. So we continue along. Marco, have a good night. He makes a good point here. Fatal 4-way should have been on the pre-show. And again, there was a kickoff. It was a 2-hour kickoff tonight, and last night was a 2-hour kickoff. But, yes, no matches at all either night on either kickoff. So, Smalls chiming in with the worst match ever. That's some very high praise. I'm sure I could name a couple others, potentially others on this show, but we'll get to there eventually. So, we continue the match, and Rodriguez picked up Morgan in a powerbomb position and then tossed her onto the pile of wrestlers on the floor. That was probably the best and most interesting thing. She used a wrestler to throw at other wrestlers. At this point, Shotzi got out of a DDT and put Rodriguez down with a fallaway slam, and then Rodriguez did her corkscrew elbow from the middle rope, set up the finisher, but Sonya hit a blind tag and then hit Rodriguez from behind, and here's where it got a little cheap because they were getting a chop block as Rodriguez was trying to, do something in the ring, anything. So Shotzi and Natalya, again, in the ring. They show up behind Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green and start beating them up. They go for a heart attack clothesline of Deville. The pin's broken up, so only a 2 count there. Then Natalya placed Green and Deville in a double sharpshooter, which I'm pretty sure we've seen that before. But Morgan leapt through the ropes and hit a code breaker on Natalya to break that up. Then Liv hit another code breaker on Shotzi and the Oblivion. Baszler came running into the ring just wearing 1 boot for some reason. Broke up the pin. Ronda Rousey tagged in and then put Shotzi in a huge armbar and gets the submission for 8 minutes, 25 seconds there. Smalls, the end of the match here. Shoosh, please. So, there were a couple of crowd-pleasing moments there. It's apparent that Rousey may have a little bit of a lingering injury because she really wasn't in the match at all. And then, with Shayna Baszler's boot, do you not know how to tie boots in South Dakota? It's just a question. Shots fired. I don't know. It was 8 minutes, and it felt like it was 15.
Yeah, that does not sound like a good match whatsoever. I'm kind of glad I missed that one. So far, Kidder, and again, I haven't seen the rest of tonight. But so far, night 1, it sounds like it was the better night than this night 2. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know. I got nothing else. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the shoe fell apart. I don't know. I'm sure we'll hear about it later. But for as many people as in this match, I mean, I only really heard you say a few names. So it just, I don't know that we needed this one. And I'm going to totally agree with Marco that this should have been on the kickoff.
There's that. All right. A Judgment Day video package hits the screen. And then another video package talking about Bobby Lashley winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on SmackDown. Because why would it be on WrestleMania anymore, where it originally was? Or the Money in the Bank ladder match.
I just got to say, Kidder, I'm a little pissed at that because, as I said, I didn't realize that the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale was not part of WrestleMania. And I was talking to the department director for AHP, Archaeology and Historic Preservation, who's also a wrestling fan. And I said to him, because we were talking about how Bray Wyatt was out and what were they going to do with Lashley, I'm like, they'll probably let him win the Andre the Giant, Battle Royale because
AGMBR.
Hey, yeah. I mean, that doesn't even see. Listen, I
You've been
consumed
drinking.
2 shots of that ice hole very quickly, and boy, is it affecting my ability to put together sentences really fast.
He's warming up.
Yeah. Anyway, I just want to say, he would have been my pick. I wanted to say I called it, and I'm now upset that was not part of WrestleMania, because that would have been a point for me.
Yep. There you go. You
There.
You got it on SmackDown.
Does it count? Do I get a point?
No.
Damn.
Just because the name was part of SmackDown, it's not on the show.
Yeah.
So then Bobby Lashley comes out. His music plays, and he hauls out the AGMBR trophy and sets it down. And then he waves at the people and then picks it up. And then it cuts to a WrestleMania viewing party in Shanghai, China. Then it cuts to backstage where Xavier Woods is hanging out again in the Up, Down, Down lounge, or whatever they call it. And it's another 2K23 simulation. And tonight, joined by Hit Row, Tegan Knox, Madcap Moss, Nikki Cross, and Greg Miller. I neglected to mention that last night, Tyler Breeze was in the group of individuals. So, yeah. Anyway.
We need Prince Parady to come back.
I mean, it's at least different. There's at least something to do. So, just like last night, 2K23 ran predictions. They ran the simulation 100 times. Kind of like what we used to do to get our predictions on this show. And McIntyre, the next match, is the triple threat. According to the simulation, McIntyre won 42% of those simulations. And then another video package spotlighting the Intercontinental Championship match, which we are about to discuss. So they finally come back to the ring, and then Titus O'Neil hurrah, 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 joins the commentary team once again. And suddenly there are cans of Mike's Harder Lemonade on the commentary desk, and the sponsorship of Mike's Harder Lemonade, and cans floating in the air in the augmented reality, and they're all over the place. And yes, that is the sponsor for this harder hitting match. So, Drew McIntyre making his way to the ring first. There's fire shooting out of the post. There's fire shooting out of the entrance. There's fire well, you know. There's that. And then Sheamus came out to the platform front part of the stage, had Ridge Holland and Butch, to hang out for a minute. And then he headed down to the ring by himself. And then Gunther's turn, and Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci stood on the side portion of the stage away from the entrance and did the, as Michael Cole said, old school entrance for Imperium. Cole noted that Gunther was on day 296 of his record-breaking reign. So, as we get to that point where we are about ready for the match to start, Rudeboy Kyle picking the wee baby Sheamus as Rudeboy goes Hollywood. I also picked the wee baby Sheamus to win this match. Any comments from anybody watching the stream? Thoughts? And Howard, your prediction?
I thought about this, and I mean, it's a triple threat match, which means technically no DQ, which means there will probably be shenanigans. The one thought that I came on is the only reason to take the title off of Gunther is if you are going to move Gunther up the card. And that's a possibility. Maybe if you're going Cody Rhodes winning it, Cody's a baby face. You're going to need heels for him to face off against. Gunther's a possibility. He's had a great run as Intercontinental Champion, so that would make a great sense. But I don't think they're going to go there. I don't think that they're going to get to that build right away. And I'm actually going to stick with Gunther to hold and retain the title.
All right. There it is. Okay. Match 3 of the night. This was 16 minutes, 40 seconds of sponsored content in your face, including the replays and the fascias and everything with Mike's Harder Lemonade. In fact, the lower thirds for each wrestler when they had their entrance featured the Mike's Harder Lemonade. And yeah, it kind of made me want to have one, but it more so just made me want to drink. Yeah. All right. So right away, the bell rings. Gunther is in between McIntyre and Sheamus, and he says, "Hey, you guys fight each other. Go for it." McIntyre kicked him in the face. Gunther ended up on the apron, and then McIntyre and Sheamus start going at it. Sheamus right away hit the Irish Curse backbreaker, and then set up 10 beats of the Beldrum. But Gunther came in, hit both of them, broke it up. McIntyre ended up at ringside. Gunther chopped the crap out of Sheamus. Titus O'Neil on commentary, "Call the police!" I kind of wish Titus was on commentary more for that reason, because it made me miss Booker T's commentary for the same sort of reason. All right, so at this point, Sheamus started firing back with a bunch of forearms. Gunther hit a backbreaker and then put Sheamus into a Boston Crab. McIntyre shows up, kicks Gunther, who stiffed it. McIntyre slapped Gunther and then released Sheamus. Now, Gunther and McIntyre are stiff chopping each other, and then Gunther kicked him off the side. Sheamus returned, put both of them put them in some European uppercuts, which certainly helped. All three of them then back together and were trading a bunch of blows. Then Sheamus picked up Gunther, put him in the 10 beats at the Baldrick position, which is Howard's favorite move. Sheamus and second favorite move. That's right. Vintage is your favorite. Sheamus and McIntyre went back and forth, hitting Gunther with chops and more clubbing forearms, and then, yes, the crowd started counting along. McIntyre knocked Sheamus off the apron, okay? So Sheamus grabs McIntyre, puts him into the 10 beats of the Baldrum, and starts going to town. There's 10. There's 15. There's 20. There's 25. And by the time he almost made it to 30, it was like 29 and a half. McIntyre fell down and just like a sack of potatoes onto the ground. Sheamus grabbed McIntyre, pulled him into the ring, and set up a Celtic cross. Got to mention that Jerome actually said, how does a guy's heart not stop being smacked that many times in that short amount of time that hard? Because he was getting whacked. Near fall, Gunther started screaming and yelling at the official a little bit. Now, Gunther blasted Sheamus with a huge clothesline. Another near fall there. McIntyre leapt from the top rope and clotheslined Gunther. Then McIntyre hit a future shock DDT on Gunther, and McIntyre kept up, went for the Claymore kick, but Gunther dropped to the mat to avoid it, and then Gunther drop kick McIntyre, power bombed him, and covered him for a near fall. Now Gunther's up top. Sheamus cuts him off. Sheamus stood in the middle rope and hit a white noise on Gunther. Looked really cool from, the second rope there. Sheamus followed up with a Celtic cross, covered Gunther, a 2.999999999 fall. Then Sheamus put Gunther into the cloverleaf. Gunther reached for the ropes, but Cole pointed out it didn't matter because apparently the triple threat matches are no DQ. Make it up as you go. McIntyre put Sheamus in a sleeper, putting the crowd to sleep. Sheamus eventually released that hold and, escaped, obviously. Sheamus put Gunther down and then went into the corner. Sheamus blasted Gunther with a brogue kick. Thought he had a beat, but McIntyre pulled Sheamus to the floor. Again, another 2.9999. Looked like it was over, but McIntyre screwed Sheamus. His longtime friend just cost him the title, is what Cole said. So they started beating the crap out of each other, and they returned to the ring. They continued beating the crap out of each other, and the crowd was chanting their normal antics there. McIntyre and Sheamus started doing the countdown, or McIntyre did, for the Claymore kick, but Sheamus beat him to that with a brogue kick, covered for another huge near fall. Both men stood up. McIntyre hit Sheamus a Glasgow kiss, ended up putting him down with a Claymore kick and a quick cover for Sheamus and a huge near fall there. McIntyre and Sheamus continue to trade punches, now on their knees. They continued getting up to their feet, and then they started hitting each other with clotheslines, but not knocking either of each other down. McIntyre clothesline, Sheamus bounced off the ropes, hit a brogue kick. Sheamus slow to cover McIntyre, but Gunther out of nowhere left from the top rope to break up the pin. Gunther power bombed. Let's see. First it was Sheamus on top of McIntyre, threw him off the side. Gunther then picked up McIntyre and powerbombed him, went for the pin, 1, 2, 3. Still your Intercontinental Champion after 16 minutes, 40 seconds is Gunther.
I gotta say, Kidder, this one sounds like a slobber knocker. If I ever, wanted to put a match as the definition of that.
Yes.
Which is what I expected of this match. I expected this to be hard-hitting. I expected it to be one of the better matches of the night, and I think they delivered on that. I mean, so far, best match of the night, beats the other two out of the water, and I think it just goes to show what happens when you allow these guys who can work a bit stiff and a bit strong and just have them brawl. And kudos also, not a lot of shenanigans from Ridge or Butch or the members of Imperium. This is I'm not even going to ask you if this is the screwy finish of the night, because it's not. It was just a hard-hitting, excellent match. And this so far is probably leading the way, or is in the top 3 of matches I want to try to go back and see after this weekend.
Absolutely. Smalls, anybody in the chat, thoughts on that match as we close out that? While we're waiting for the comments and whatnot, there is another video package spotlighting the Raw Women's Championship, which of course means that is the next match. Now, Asuka made her way to the ring first, and the entrance featured several performers dressed as her, but Asuka dressed differently than she normally was, and then removed the mask, to the side like she usually does, and had a white and gold theme for her face paint this evening. Made her way to the ring, and Bianca Belair, her turn to make her way to the ring. There was a group of dancers. They were spotlighting their own ponytails and performing to Bianca's theme music, and very well choreographed, in my opinion. They were doing some cool flips and, again, choreographed dance moves. They were the Divas of Compton, and just to throw a shout-out to them and recognize their contribution to the Compton and surrounding areas to give youth in the troubled areas purpose and ways to be successful. It also appeared that Bianca Belair's daughter was at the top of the ramp. Not sure. They didn't mention it, so it probably wasn't, but it kind of looked like Bianca. So this match, Rude Boy picks up Bianca Belair, and I chose Asuka.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting choice. You know what? Part of me says it. I think it's going to be Bianca. I think they're going to keep it on her. I think they like it on her. However, I have always been an Asuka fan, and I've kind of been on a little bit more, especially after the Royal Rumble, because I think I shortchanged her at the Royal Rumble with my predictions. So, Kidder, I'm going to stick with it. I think it's going to be Asuka. Or at least I'm hoping it's Asuka. I'd love to see her have the title, especially since she's kind of like they've changed her gimmick slightly. They've made an adjustment. It's a little bit more hard-hitting and violent Asuka. I kind of want to see her with the title.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Like your thoughts there. Very good. Ready to talk about this thing then. All right. So, right at the top, Bianca Belair went right at Asuka with a few drop kicks. There was a flurry of activity returned from Asuka, including a bulldog that led to more kicks from Asuka and a cover with an early 2 count. Asuka ended up catching Belair standing on the middle rope, and then Belair was able to counter it and backflipped over her. Belair put Asuka into a spine buster and got a 2 count there. Then Belair went for a handspring into a standing moonsault, but Asuka caught her, put her into a submission, and then eventually maneuvered it into the Asuka lock. Corey Graves mentioned that it didn't quite get locked in, and Belair was able to roll out of the ring and escape the hold. Asuka followed Belair down to the floor, went for the armbar, but Belair escaped it, and then Belair powered up Asuka and put her down onto the ground forcibly with a sit-out powerbomb. Yes, she was sitting on the floor and picked her up and powerbombed her. Bianca Belair is not somebody you want to mess with. So, Belair went for a handspring, and I think they had a new director because they cut to the super wide shot to slowly zoom in as there's not a lot of activity. And Belair, again, like I said, going for the handspring across the ring, and they're like, ah, crap, and they cut back. Noobs. Anyway, there was a 2 count there because Asuka caught her in midair and put Bianca into a submission hold. But again, Belair was able to kick out. So they got out onto the apron at this point, and Asuka was kicking Bianca until Bianca caught her leg and hit her with a forearm. Asuka fired right back, sent Belair into the outer LED portion of the ring post. And then Belair rolled back into the ring after that. Now, Asuka tried to suplex Belair from the apron, but Belair avoided it, ran Asuka into the ring post casing, and then Belair performed a deadlift superplex, literally manhandled Asuka, or Belair handled Asuka, for a 2 count. Both women traded more quick fire pin attempts for 1 counts, etc. And then Asuka caught Belair with a kick, covered her for a 2 count. As we continue on, Belair avoided the Asuka lock again, rolled her into a pin for a 2 count. And people were chanting, doing their thing. And Belair was able to form a blockbuster and then follow it up with the handspring off the ropes and a standing moonsault, again a 2 count. Then Belair got smoked by Asuka's knee. And she backed into the ropes and shoulder blocked Asuka Both of them went down for a moment. And Belair went up. Asuka cut her off. Climbed to the top rope. But Belair put her on her shoulders. Asuka fought back. They continued trying to get, in control of each other until Asuka pulled Belair's hair braid and they both ended up onto the ring. Asuka got the code breaker and a near fall. It's amazing how the code breaker has become so weak over the years. Belair rallied to set up the KOD, but Asuka held onto the ropes. Belair bumped into the referee, who remained on her feet, but spun around, disoriented, and had to fix her eyelash. I wish I was kidding.
Is that really the legitimate reason they gave?
Oh, they bumped. I mean, they didn't say it, but she was visibly doing this to fix her fake eyelashes.
I'm not drunk enough for that.
Yeah, I know. Asuka tried to spray the black mist, but Belair was about 10 feet away, so Belair just stared at her. Belair went again for the KOD. Asuka was able to slip away, but as she slipped away, Asuka put Belair into an armbar. While she did that, Belair powered her up. Again, a complete deadlift from the ground, put her into the rack, and hit the KOD. Belair covers for the 1, 2, and 3 after 16 minutes, 5 seconds, retaining the Raw Women's Championship as your 4th match of the night.
I mean, it sounds like a decent match, Kidder. Even if I'm not happy with the result. I just gotta learn to go with my instincts a little bit more on this. I mean, it does make sense for to keep it on Belair. They like it on her. Yeah. Anyway, so sorry, Asuka. I wish it was your time again, but cheers to you.
Should also note. You're halfway through.
I'm coming close to halfway through this bottle. And it's only been 2 nights.
Well, there's more matches to go because we're only halfway through the card. I do have to say the pacing so far was pretty good because we've been through about an hour and a half and we're halfway through the show. I was like, hey, maybe we'll get done by 10 o'clock.
I kind of thought that when you texted me like, hey, they're starting the promo for the main event. I'm like, oh, we're going to be done early.
Nope.
I don't think that's...
No, we'll get to that. So next, George Kittle shown in the crowd once again. And then they show Al Michaels, who you may remember or know from NBC Sports and being an NFL on NBC commentator for many years. And then The Miz and Snoop D-O-double-G back in the ring. The Dog Father is what they were calling him tonight. Miz announced the attendance, which, again, I mentioned earlier, but if you missed that, it's 81,395, which is sold out, but last night was sold out. Yep, there's over 1,000 more people, so explain that. The 2-night attendance combined 161,892, which, again, most of those people are the same people who were there last night, so it doesn't count. All right. Miz then complained that Snoop put him into a match last night, yet he was dressed in his expensive suit. $10,000 suit, I might add. Snoop asked if he wanted to do it again. Miz said no, and said, no. People were complaining, and then Snoop goes, my bad. Miz said, it's my city, it's my ring, it's my WrestleMania, and then Snoop goes, no, dog, you got it all wrong. It's our city. It's our WrestleMania. And then when I said my bad, I meant my bad, and points to the stage. And then suddenly, here comes the money! Money talks. Here comes the money. Money, 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 money. Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. The ching, ching, bling, bling. Cut the cheddar. Hits the stage and makes his way down to the ring. Shane hits the actual ring and grabs a mic. Thanks the crowd for the reception. He appreciates it. And then Snoop goes, "From one OG to another, will you please take care of this, brother?" And then a referee pops out of nowhere. And the bell rings with Miz screaming. So I choose Shane McMahon. And Rudeboy Kyle chooses Shane McMahon.
I think, everybody who's got a brain is going to choose Shane McMahon. And so will I.
I wonder if Smalls is cutting a cheddar. He's got that dollar. All right. So Shane, right away, pop, the quick punches like Shane always does. Then Shane hits the drop down quick. And a leapfrog spot right away comes back down and falls down, clutching his knee. Shane stays down, and the trainer and the ref come over, and Miz starts walking around the ring like, he's won and looking around. And Snoop Dogg comes into the ring and cold cocks Miz. Then Shane was helped out of the ring. Miz got up, and Snoop cold cocks Miz once again. Then the referee suddenly returns to the ring, because the bell has not rung again, signifying the end of the match. Snoop does a hilarious, goofy-ass people's elbow, because he knocked out the Miz, right? So he's on the ground, and he does the kick, and then the kick, and then walks over, or I should say shuffles over to the ropes, turns around and goes, shuffles across the ring to the ropes. Comes back in, hits the dog's elbow, pins him. The referee makes the count, and Snoop Dogg defeats The Miz in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Officially listed, this match is Snoop Dogg's match, accompanied by Shane McMahon. Even though it's a singles match. Why are you drinking? We all get a point.
No, because we said Shane McMahon wins. Snoop Dogg won.
Well, before you take that, according to the official listing that's on the internet, it's Snoop Dogg and Shane McMahon defeating The Miz by pinfall.
So it was a handicap match?
No. It doesn't make any sense, because it's like, whose line is it anyway? And this show. So you drink if you want to. I think we get a point. Smalls,
no.
Do we get points?
No, listen, don't make me go get the ref shirt. No, we don't get points for that.
But the ref was in the ring.
Listen, I'm taking this shot not necessarily because I'm wrong, but because I'm clearly not drunk enough to understand WWE logic. But if it's not a handicap match, no points for stupidity.
At the time match. Oh, he's gone and done it.
Yeah, no points for anybody on that one. Official ruling. That was stupidity. No points. No points. Now I'm angry.
Night 2 sucks.
So far, there's been one good match tonight. And I've done a lot of... 2 good matches, because the Asuka match with Bianca sounded like it was pretty good. So 2 good matches so far. Yeah. I'm not liking him tonight, Kidder. I'm not.
Yeah. Anyway.
I would have been more... if this was like the old pay-per-view days where it was like $75 to tune in, I'd call ripoff.
I'd say that there was something wrong with the transmission and ask for my money back.
Yeah.
All right. So Snoop walked around and had his golden championship, which, if you've seen that, it's an all-gold WWE championship belt, and the swoosh is green. He shook hands with the broadcast team, and also, what's his name, who's sitting back, Al Michaels. And then a video package for the Hell in a Cell match. That's right. It's time to go straight to hell next. And the entrances started on the set, video, and some weird music, and then they cut to the upcoming movie. What is it? With Russell Crowe and the possession.
The Pope's Exorcist,
That
based
one.
on true events.
Yeah, that one. So this movie sponsored this match.
All right.
So again, like I said, they cut to the stage, and it looked like the entrances were going to begin, but they cut to the trailer, and the trailer then merged into part of the entrance. It's kind of weird. But cut back, and the screen has Brood Edge listed on it, dripping in blood. And then there's a flaming square in the ramp, and Edge up through the stage. Pretty cool. He's wearing like almost a chainmail kind of apparel, but it's like mirrored. A bunch of little mirrors. It was really cool looking. And he then puts his arms out and has this huge winged cape. And Slayer's Raining Blood is playing. And then they cut to the cage, and Edge dropped the different gear, and it switched, and Metalingus played by Alter Bridge, and his normal entrance as he came flying down to the ring. And then it's time for the Demon King. No, now he's just the Demon, Finn Balor, making his entrance. Had that long Mohawk-style spike headgear that we saw the last time he was the Demon, if you remember that. Looked really cool. He wore that, and of course it was the Demon theme entrance with the do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, and everything. And then right into the song that it's supposed to be Finn Balor's last music. I've missed that song. Ah! Ah! Yeah. Anyway. So that was very cool. Again, I mentioned this, but what pisses me off about them having SummerSlam or WrestleMania or any of the other pay-per-views in venues that have giant windows or no roof at all. They start too early, and there's too much light. You can't get the cool effect. So this match, had it been the last match or the second to last match, it would have been mostly dark or completely dark outside. So then they could have had the full effect of, you are in hell, there's flames shooting out, there's pyro over here, there's smoke, and you know what I mean? But no. It looked like just a poor excuse for an entrance. As cool as it was, okay? So, before we start, obviously need our predictions. I chose Edge to pick up the victory on this one, and Rude Boy Goes Hollywood also choosing Edge.
Edge would be a wise choice, but I'm a big fan of the Demon King version of Finn Balor. And Edge is part-time, so I'd rather see them put a little love on Finn Balor and build him up, especially if he's supposed to be the leader of Judgment Day. He needs a win here. So I'm going with Demon King Finn Balor.
All right. So, the first thing that's noticeable.
Wait. There's some other bonus questions, Kidder, associated with this match.
You are correct. The questions that were bonus were, first of all, do they go on top of the cage? Rude Boy and I say yes. And the second question is somebody thrown off the cage? I made it someone thrown off because it's a little bit more ambiguous that way, I suppose.
I guess when I suggested it to you, I just said somebody off the cage, and because we've had Shane McMahon jump off the cage, so I was trying to include that in and not just thrown off.
Okay.
Because if it's strictly thrown off, then it's an easy no.
Okay.
I don't think that they would ever do that again after the Mick Foley one. Yeah.
Well, thrown off or jump off or exit the top of the stage in some manner other than climbing down, both of us say no. We can expand that.
Yeah, we'll go with that ruling. I'm going to say no, they do not end up on top of the cage, and no, nobody goes off the cage. So,
alrighty. So again, the first thing to note is that the crap red cage is not there. Hallelujah. They finally listened to us. It is now the silver cage, and it is the new version of the Hell in a Cell with the WWE in the center of the top. What?
Are you sure it's silver and it's not nickel?
It might be nickel.
Because it,
Peppernickel.
Nicolas Cage. Yeah. Sorry.
So for those of you watching and demand, let's just put it this way: should Howard take a shot for telling that bad of a joke? Say yes.
Truthfully, I listen. Of course, I've had a lot to drink already tonight. What I should have said is, yes, it is silver because it's a Nicholas Cage.
213 says yes. Howard needs at least one shot.
I know where 213 lives.
Well, hopefully somebody else will comment too.
And I'm just going to put it this way: Howard's got 3 shots riding on this match. If somebody goes on the cage, somebody comes off the cage, and Finn Balor loses, Howard's got to drink 3, so we don't need to add another shot to this.
All right. So, Nicolas Cage is there, but not there. That would have been interesting, though, because, he plays a vampire in that new movie.
Dracula.
So
in the movie Renfield.
Yes. Yeah, so they could have had them sponsor it and make it truly the Nicolas Cage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, so they're both inside. They're ready to go. They go right to it, hitting each other, and Edge goes right underneath to look for the toys and pulls out an all-red chair and a purple kendo stick, and then pulls out a red kendo stick. Yeah. So they start off hitting each other on the apron and then into the cage structure, as is tradition. Edge pulls out more kendo sticks, and again, some are purple, some are red, and eventually they get into the standard kendo sticks. Edge at one point used 2 kendo sticks to pin Finn into the corner, the demon into the corner of the cage, to lock him in, and then ended up jumping off the apron and dropped kick him in the gut. Also note that the broadcast team said Finn Balor looked like a trapped zombie from The Walking Dead. So at this point, Balor is still trapped by the 2 kendo sticks, even though he can move his arms. Edge pulled out a table from underneath the ring. The crowd cheered. He leaned it against the other corner of the cage. Balor ended up breaking one of the kendo sticks, and Edge pulled the other out, but Balor grabbed Edge and ran him into the ring steps. Balor started blasting him with some chops against the cage. Then they got back into the ring. Edge hits a huge side DDT, the same that, refresh my memory, was it... what's his name from the Brood? Maybe
Gangrel?
Yes, Gangrel. Thank you. It's that DDT, if you remember that, like a very open side DDT. It looks a little bit more dangerous. Anyway, Balor basically no-sold it and came back with a sling blade. They now move back to the ringside, and Balor dropkick Edge through the table that Edge had set up in the corner, and one of the pieces of the table popped up and fell down on top of Edge. It looked kind of screwy, but whatever. Edge then appeared to have a welt below his right eye. Hit the unprettier on Balor, and I was like, there's a shout out to Christian right there. Very nice. Balor basically, he didn't completely no sell it, but, he's acting tough because he's the demon, right? So Edge goes under the ring for more toys, pulls out a ladder, comes into the ring with the ladder, holding it this way, and he throws it at Balor. Tink! It legitimately screwed up Balor. I didn't, with the makeup, they did a great job covering it up, because I don't know what they did. They glued it and then stitched it or something, but Balor was smoked open and was gushing blood. And because, WWE, they don't want to show anything real like that, so they cut away, and they're showing the crowd. And, the medical team needs to come in. And then they cut back to Edge, and he's over there trying to sell that, okay, something's going wrong. So, all right, so he's looking for things. He's pulling chairs out and throwing them into the ring. Kendo sticks. So, good job on Edge for being the pro to do that. It took a good couple minutes for them to finish it up, but they finally fixed him up. Balor came in and blasted Edge a few times, got him down so he could hit the coup de grace near fall. Balor climbed up onto one of the ladders that Edge had set up, but Edge hit him with the purple kendo stick. Edge joined Balor on the ladder and then hit him with the Impaler DDT. Edge went for the cover there, but Balor kicked out very last moment. Edge goes ringside, pulls out another table, which he sets up inside the ring while Balor was down in the corner. Balor got up, and he is going to try and hit Edge and knock him onto the table, so he's hitting him with 4 kendo stick shots. Well, placed him onto the table quick. Balor runs up and hits Edge now with a red chair, just to be known that it wasn't a black chair, it was the red chair. So Balor teased to go to the top rope because Edge is still there, but he opted to go up onto the cage, and there happens to be a convenient platform on the side of the cage. So Balor climbs up onto that platform, leaps into the air for another coup de grace. Edge moves out of the way, and Balor whoosh, straight through the table. The table gets the coup de grace. Edge grabs Balor and, it was ready for him, I should say, and then spears Balor, covers him, another near fall. Edge was shocked, picked up a kendo stick, smashes Balor with it, and then he threw the kendo stick, grabs the red chair, hits Balor with it a few times, and then slides the chair under Balor's head. Edge has that sadistic son of a bitch look on his face, grabs another chair from ringside, comes over and hits Balor with the concerto, moves the chair. Edge rolls over Balor for the 1, 2, and 3. Edge picking up the victory over Finn Balor in 18 minutes, 10 seconds in a Hell in a Cell match. Just a note, you could see all of the blood on the mat, so it clearly wasn't a question of if Balor had been broken open or not. Maybe it would have been a little better had they shown some of it, but they made sure to not. And because of that, them having to get him patched up, it felt a little bit wonky. So, no to going on top of the cage, no to any spots off the cage.
Okay.
How are Blues? Your thoughts?
Sounds like a decent Hell in a Cell match. Although all of the colored furniture is quite alarming.
I thought it was silly.
Yeah.
But I will also take that over the full red cage.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. And who knows, maybe it's that they had those left over for something and was like, well, we got these, Maybe they couldn't get the black, they went to get them. And the supplier's like, I'm sorry, it's going to be 6 months on black chairs. I got a stash of red and purple. Well, I guess we'll take it.
They did have some black chairs.
Yeah. It sounds like a decent match, and it does sound like the injury might have slowed down Balor a little bit. Yeah. It's great that Edge won. I don't know. I don't like that all these part-timers are kind of winning all of the matches because WWE has an issue with building stars that you could care about, and here's another one where it's like, well, here's the guy who only shows up, a couple times during the year, getting a win over somebody who you could build to be an incredible threat, especially because, again, if you are changing the titles tonight for Roman Reigns and you're putting it on Cody, you're going to need some heels for Cody to face. And, Balor could be a good one. I'd love to see a match against Cody Rhodes and Finn Balor. But with booking like this, it just, yeah. Plus, I never liked the Demon losing. So, yeah.
And that's 2 in a row for the Demon.
Yeah. Yeah. I also don't like the way that they've used the Demon lately because he's supposed to be the guy who shows up when it matters the most. And I don't know if this mattered the most, because even in NXT when they would run it with him, it wasn't that, oh, it's a title match, I'm going to come out as the Demon. It was usually, this is the final match, Hey, I'm Finn Balor and I'm challenging Joe, and maybe I beat Joe the first time. Second time, Joe beats me. Now it's the third and final match. I'm going to bring the Demon King because it's the only way I know how to beat Samoa Joe. It makes sense. Just to bring it out here, I don't know. So, doesn't sound like a terrible match, but of the night, it's probably third best so far, from what I've heard.
I will say that the question is, how much longer does Edge have? Because he had mentioned it over a year ago. You know, he's not going to wrestle forever, and this time he will actually retire. So is this Edge's last WrestleMania, and that's why there is the huge victory? Maybe.
Edges of the old school enough where, the old school guys always believe that your last match, you should lose. You're passing the torch. Of course, they didn't do that with The Undertaker. He won his last one. But most of the greats, Ric Flair, Ric Flair's last official match in WWE, he lost.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of the tradition and how it's supposed to go. But anyway.
Yeah. There's that. There's also a little bit of breaking news, and had I been thoughtful, faster, or interested in it, I could have loaded up the breaking news little graphic here. But I won't. Nothing to worry about. The injury from, almost said Shawn Michaels, Shane McMahon. The injury from Shane McMahon was legitimate, and he apparently tore his quad. So Triple H announced it, and I find humor in that because it's like Triple H tearing his quad. Or
Vince McMahon tearing his quads.
Right. He's like, it runs in the family. And I mean, you could go one more step. Kevin Nash tearing his quad. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dinner. I'm hoping I don't have my phone easily available to see how many matches we have left.
One.
I'm hoping there's. Oh, good, because I'm feeling the effects, Kidder.
Oh, good. You want some other breaking news while we're at it? Because I forgot to mention it at the top of the show. Like where you're supposed to do breaking news.
I mean, sure. Why not?
Okay.
While we're in this break.
Multiple sources have reported that a sale of WWE is in the final steps at this point and will be announced / concluded tomorrow. And that they were waiting for WrestleMania to be complete. And here is the purchasee, if you will, UFC's parent company, which will then essentially combine companies of UFC and WWE, opening up a lot of other opportunities and interesting reaction there. Your breaking thoughts on that?
I mean, it's got potential. I mean, it's not like the UFC is, a slouch. And at least it's combat sports. And, truthfully, if you've liked the direction that the WWE has been in since Vince McMahon stepped down before his return, I mean, pretty easy thing to purchase and just kind of say, okay, Triple H, you keep doing what you're doing, then shouldn't be too bad. But it'll be interesting to see. It's always interesting to see what changes you get when you have a sale like this, because you have owners. They're going to probably have some thought and insight, and who knows, we might see some cross promotion. We might get a WWE wrestling match inside an octagon.
Yeah. Vince McMahon is listed to be the executive officer of the new combined corporation.
That's really weird, because Vince hasn't been anybody's, subordinate for. This is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
Yep. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, or later today, since it's now into the next day.
Woo!
All right. So there is a compilation video of the WrestleMania Goes Hollywood spin-off, or parodies, if you will. There were a couple good ones this year. Then, Kayla Braxton backstage and interviews the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair. Bianca said it's amazing and that she was happy she successfully defended the championship. Asuka took her to the limit, and she's an incredible fighter. And she was happy to be joined by the girls that danced to part of her entrance and were all yelling EST. So there was that. Now a video package again that we saw last night for WWE Backlash in San Juan, Puerto Rico, with Bad Bunny as the host again. And then the tourism plug once again, showing off the video of nice areas of Puerto Rico. And then another video package recapping not even last night's, Friday night. I'm used to that, doing the show Saturday nights there. But Friday night's Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And then the class was introduced, as they typically do, where they walk onto the stage. And, of course, as my list doesn't have it right at that point, our Hall of Fame list this year included Stacy Keibler. She was announced first on the ramp. Then there was, man, had I actually prepared for this and not forgotten about it, I'd actually, have this ready to go, so I didn't have to open up things. I mean, it's live, right? So whatever.
It is live. It's late. Listen. I mean, this is only the second time we've ever been live, and there's a danger to going. There's a danger to going live because we do not have the safety net that is Future Howard to save us.
Yeah. All right. So again, Stacy Keibler introduced, the Great Muta, who actually did the Black Mist, or no, it was Green Mist, but you couldn't really see it. Also, Andy Kaufman in the Celebrity Wing, and former referee and backstage assistant Tim White inducted, and then, of course, the I suppose you could say the class headliner, Rey Mysterio. And all of them were on the entrance ramp, thanking everybody for their induction and whatnot. Rey also did a nice gesture, went down the line and hugged or gave a handshake to everyone on the stage. And, of course, with Tim White no longer being here and Andy Kaufman no longer being here, members of their respective families were on the stage, and so it was a nice gesture. Okay. After that, a WrestleMania 40 video package talking about Philadelphia and Lincoln Financial Field. And then they go to a live viewing party from the Philly fans chanting, Mania, Mania, Mania. Then, they talked about last night. Footage from Seth Rollins' entrance. And then Baron Corbin and The Miz with an ad for the fantasy sports sponsorship. And the corporate sponsor ad from the tax company for the main event. And then a video package about the main event. And yes, it's time for the main event. So, here we are. Cody Rhodes making his entrance for the main event. He's got his Homelander-style jacket, had big eagle wings on the back. It looked really cool. He rose from the stage. Cool. Smoke. Pyro all over. Awesome. He also went back to ringside where Brandy, and Cody's mom, and Cody's sister, and his daughter Liberty were there. And then Cody the weight belt thing. He removed his weight belt and presented it to a child who was there next to the Rhodes family. Who was that person? Well, it was the unmasked son of the late John Huber, who you may know better as Brody Lee, or in WWE world, Luke Harper. Or in AEW world, -1. So, Michael Cole also announced on commentary that it was the son of John Huber, and Cody presenting the weight belt to him as a nice gesture and keepsake, and thanks for being there. So, very nice. Then it cuts to the stage, and there are 6 grand pianos playing the Bloodlines theme that you could kind of make out. It wasn't really good, but anyway. Music actually starts. The pianists rise and recognize and acknowledge the tribal chief. Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and Solo Sikoa make their way out to the ring, taking their sweet time. Of course, Roman Reigns holds up the titles. The pyro goes off. Cole notes that today, day 945 of Roman's championship reign. Michael Cole then added that Cody has never main evented WrestleMania, and this was Roman Reigns' 7th WrestleMania main event. And Cole said that he is the first champion to ever defend the same title in 3 consecutive WrestleMania main events. I don't know how they say that they're WrestleMania main events, because they've done 2 shows each weekend the past 3 years. So there's 2 main events, Michael Cole, each year. Anyway, it's Roman Reigns also the 15th time that a member of the NOI family has main evented WrestleMania. Also noted in the reign of championship length, only 4 people in WWE history have held the World Championship longer. Number 4, Pedro Morales. Number 3, Bob Backlund. Number 2, Hulkamania brother, running wild, Hulk Hogan. And at number 1, Bruno Sammartino. And then Roman Reigns has beat a bunch of people. Cole listed off about 15 different people, including Daniel Bryan and Cesaro. Yeah. Anyway, so there is the entrance. I looked at the clock, obviously, when I messaged you of the promos starting, and that was at 9:44. The bell rung at 10:02. So before we talk about the match itself, the predictions. I called out back at Royal Rumble that my son Cody Rhodes was going to come to the ring, and he was not only going to talk, but he was going to go all the way. Rudeboy Kyle picks Roman Reigns to take it all. And now, Howard Blues.
This is a hard one. Kieran, I have been wrestling with this all day.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Because there's a part of me that says, yes, let's get Cody in. Let's change it up. Let's have something new. Let's have something different. It'll be all right. Change the storyline a bit. However, there's a part of me that says, gosh, you had the Usos lose the titles. It's kind of weird to take the Bloodline, this faction that has been so dominant, and have in one weekend them lose everything. I have gone back and forth. I mean, even here, as the official scorekeeper on this, Kidder, just so you know, right now, Kyle is sitting at 10 points. You and I are sitting at 9 points. And, you know, I could play the game. I could play the game and look at the things and look at the cards and go mathematically. Truthfully, it's best if I choose Roman Reigns because then I'm the same with Kyle and I have a chance of actually pulling this off and winning. Or I can stick to my guns. I want Cody to win so badly. However, Roman Reigns has been the guy, and he is a huge draw, and the fans don't even really boo him.
Would it make you feel better if he got booed out of the house in his entrance music?
No. No. That doesn't help. All right. I you know, the time is up. The time is now.
You should have another shot and think about it.
No, because I eventually do have to go to work tomorrow, and I do need to sober up before then.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Okay. Kidder, here's the thing. I could play it safe. I could win this. And I could go with Roman Reigns and do that.
You can't pick both.
I'm not. I'm going to take a gamble. And if I blow this, the worst case scenario is I tie with Rudeboy Kyle, but that's not a satisfying ending to this prediction game. And therefore, Kidder, I'm going to put it all on the line. The ice hole is out. This is in. Kidder, I'm going to Rhodes for the win.
Okay. He's locked in, and before he can change his mind, we're going to Samantha Irvin for the in-ring introductions for the title match. All right. Cody chants broke out. Roman grabs the mic. WrestleMania, acknowledge me. You know, and then tosses the mic, and it bounces all the way across the ring. I thought that was kind of funny. Bell rang. They go face to face for the stare down. Roman smiled and backed away, and they laughed. He laughed, I should say. They locked up. Cody tied up Roman's arm. They're going back and forth. Reigns grappled to the top rope, smiled. Cody caught Reigns with a punch, causing Reigns to roll to the outside. Heyman gives Reigns a pep talk and tells Reigns to go finish him and said, "My tribal chief." Back in the ring, Reigns hits Rhodes with a couple of elbows and playing to the crowd. Reigns is throwing clotheslines at Rhodes in the corner, and then Cody came back with a huge drop kick and then covered Reigns for a 1 count. Cody goes for the disaster kick, but Reigns caught him and power-bombed him before covering him for a 2 count. Reigns took control until Cody skinned the cat and then threw Reigns onto the floor. Cody went for a kick from the apron, but Reigns caught his leg and swung Cody onto that apron. Reigns tossed Cody into the entrance ramp, and then Reigns started blasting Cody, who eventually came back with a body slam on the ramp. Ouch. Cody tossed Reigns back inside the ring, and then Solo Sikoa pulled out a chair from underneath the ring and jabbed Cody's ribs with it while the ref was focused on Reigns. It was a black chair, by the way. Roman Reigns went to ringside and hit the drive-by. Reigns sent Cody back inside the ring, covered him for a 2 count. Cody ended up regrouping, ran the ropes, but Sikoa tripped him, which the referee again missed. Reigns turned Cody inside out with a huge clothesline, covered him for another 2 count. Cody was now selling the rib pain. And then Reigns whipped Cody over to the corner. Cody falls to the mat. Reigns tossed Cody to the ringside, followed him down to the floor. and Reigns cleared the broadcast table, slammed Cody's head on it. Yes, he cleaned off both of the tables. No table is safe at WrestleMania. At this point, Reigns stood over Cody on the table, held up his index finger to acknowledge him. Reigns set up a power bomb on the Spanish announce table, but Cody fought him off and backdropped him through the normal broadcast table. And Roman Reigns was blasted on the floor. Cody goes into the ring and breaks the count, and then pulls Reigns back up into the ring. What I will give him credit for is that all of the time they spent outside the ring, the official was actually counting at a decent pace. I know! That never happens.
Never.
On top of it, they were aware of it, right? So they went back in, broke the count, went back out, continued their business. I give them the thumbs up for that. So now they're in the ring. Cody hits the drop down and then punch to the face, and then a power slam. And then Cody grabs Reigns and hits the Cody cutter, covers Reigns for a near fall. And Cody starts hitting Reigns with his boots, who then rolled out to the floor. Cody hit Reigns with the suicide dive and then grabbed Reigns and threw him back into the ring. At this point, Solo Sikoa is over there again, takes off his own weight belt and slaps Cody in the back. And then the referee goes, actually decides that, wait a minute, there's some shenanigans going on, and goes, you're out of here, and kicks Solo out of the ring. So the official finally saw it. It only took 3 times. So Reigns grabs the belt and tries to use the weight belt, but the referee tries to take it away. Reigns is holding on to it, and Cody ends up super kicking Reigns and hits the crossroads for a huge near fall. Also to note that the weight belt went flying out of Reigns' hands, bounced a couple times on the mat, and fell to the ringside. It was comical to me. Reigns came back with a jawbreaker and a headbutt, and Reigns was clubbing Cody's back and neck. Roman then threw Cody over the top rope. Now, Reigns grabs Cody. Cody slips away, but Reigns hits him with the Uranagi slam and covers him for a near fall. At this point, Reigns goes for the Superman punch, but Cody stuffed it and put Reigns down with a pedigree for another near fall. Then Cody looked shocked, fired himself up. Cody goes for the disaster kick for a second time, but Reigns cheeses him out again with a Superman punch. Reigns covers Cody for a near fall. Then Reigns is showing frustration because, another Superman punch and all of that, and he still hasn't put him away. Heyman's shouting encouragement to Reigns. Reigns stood up and did his Reigns goes for the spear, but Cody ends up going for the sunset flip, hits him with that, and gets a 2 count. Now Cody put Reigns into the figure 4. At this point, Cole's saying, Dusty's looking down on his son and making Reigns tap out with the figure 4. Reigns rolled over Cody, reverses it, and then, reverses the pressure. Cody was able to wiggle over to the rope and break the hold. So at this point, Cody is telling himself to fight it, gets up to his feet on the apron, Reigns is in the ring standing, and they're punching each other back and forth. Cody clotheslined Reigns over the top rope, and then Cody went up top, landed on his feet when Reigns avoided him. Yeah, Reigns was able to step out of the way when Cody jumped down. Cody ran the ropes and took a big spear from Reigns, who then covered him for another near fall. Then Reigns was yelling at the ref because, it was a 3 count. Reigns hit Cody with repeated forearms while Cody was on his back. Reigns got up, yelled at the crowd, and then motioned that he was about to end the match. Reigns put Cody into the guillotine. Cody faded, dropped to his knees. The ref checked his arm, but it stayed up. Cody's powering himself up. Reigns grapevined him, and Cody was again fading, but suddenly Cody slips out of the hold and punches Reigns a bunch of times. Apparently the first ever time anybody has countered the guillotine from Roman Reigns. Both of them get up to their feet. Cody threw a kick. Reigns avoided it, which then, guess what? The referee gets hit and goes flying out of the ring. If this was edited and you had time to do it, I would say what I really think, but this is stupid. I hate how many times this garbage happens. They're relying way too much on bumps to the referees. It's just garbage. Come up with something else. Anyway, Reigns hits Cody with a Superman punch. Cody bounces off the ropes, fires back. Both men fall to the mat. The referee is still down near the ring. Cody gets to his feet, looks to the sky, talking to Dusty. Cody starts yelling at Reigns to get up. Rhodes sets up the crossroads, but guess what? Out of nowhere, Jimmy and Jey Uso come running in, hit Cody with the double super kick party. The Usos then hit Cody with a huge 1D. And the Usos drag Reigns over the top of Cody. Out of nowhere, KO and Sami Zayn run in, show up, blast the Usos, take them out of the ring. Also to be noted that KO was wearing a Dusty Rhodes shirt. Nice touch. Reigns goes after Owens, who kicked him, and then Owens stunners Reigns. Reigns stood up. After that, Sami Zayn hit him with a haluva kick. And then the Usos came in, and they brawled with Owens and Zayn off into the crowd. It disappeared. Cody draped one arm over Reigns. Referee, suddenly awake, comes over, and a super slow 2.999 count as Reigns kicks out. Cody gets to his knees, holding his ribs. Reigns goes up to his knees, and both men start punching each other. Then, Reigns knocks Cody down, goes for the Superman punch, but Cody sidesteps it and fired the Dusty Rhodes style punch right there, and then hits him with the bionic elbow, baby. Cody hits the drop-down punch again, and then a crossroads. Cody picks up Reigns again, hits another crossroads, and then Heyman climbs onto the apron and starts yelling at the referee. And out of the audience, an unknown individual in a hooded sweatshirt. Solo Sikoa comes running up, hits Cody with the Samoan spike. Reigns runs the rope, spears Cody, knocks him down 1, 2, and 3. Roman Reigns picking up the victory over Cody Rhodes in 34 minutes, 35 seconds to retain the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Then after the match, Reigns, Heyman, and Sikoa made their way up to the stage with the pyro and holding up the titles and whatnot. Cody looked pissed and sad, and Paul Heyman was saying, "You are WrestleMania." And then they had the video package to close out night 2 of WrestleMania. There it is. First of all, your thoughts on tonight's main event?
Well, Kidder, it actually sounds like a decent match. I know people don't tend to like Roman Reigns matches.
Yes.
Oh boy, it's been a while since I've opened this thing. I'm a man of my word. I said I would drink this if Cody lost. So here's my.
We all need to pour a 40 on the curb anyway because it was Cody's night. Damn it.
It should have been. I mean, I had a decent feeling that they would keep it on Roman. He's been kind of the golden goose as of late, and why do it? So, Cody, thanks for letting me down on this one. Cheers. Oh, whoa! God, I hate that stuff. It's almost gone, dude. It's almost gone.
Almost.
Anyway, but this sounds like a decent match. With some good storytelling and overall, yeah, I do think it probably qualifies Kidder, since we haven't done it, as our DraftKings screwy finish of the night.
Yep, there it is.
So there's the graphic. At least for now, we'll figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean it's not a surprise. I wonder where they go from this, forward. Who's left? Who, Roman has been so dominant and beaten everybody. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Who's left? Who are you going to bring in? And
mm-hmm.
That's to me is the biggest question coming out of here is, okay, now what do you do with Roman? So
He takes a 6-month break with the title, like he's pretty much done anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. SummerSlam's probably the next time that they possibly flip the titles. So,
or watch it's at Backlash after Reigns hits 1,000 days.
Yeah. So, but Kidder, we got some scorekeeping to do here. Okay. And we have some bonus questions that we posed last night. And just to remind people, we had the question of if The Rock would appear. You said yes, I said no, Kyle said yes. So point to me, no Rock. We asked if Stone Cold would show up. We all said yes. We're all wrong there. I will drink that shot shortly. I'm letting the Jack Daniels settle a little bit. And would Stone Cold have a match? We all said yes. Again, no. Since he didn't show up, there is no match. I'll get to that shot as well.
That's just terrible.
Yeah, those will be ice hole because I don't know that I could handle another Jack Daniels. Mm-hmm. The question of if Jay White would make an appearance, he did not. Kidder, that scores you a point and me a point because we both said no. Kyle said yes. And then the last bonus question, would Randy Orton make an appearance? You and Kyle said yes. You don't get a point. I will score a point for that. Which brings us to our final scores. Kidder in third place on the evening is yourself at 10 points. A nice showing. Coming in at second will be Kyle with 11 points. And thanks to the bonus questions, I take first with 12 points and get to do 2 shots for my troubles.
There you go.
So, Kidder, overall, as I pour myself one of these 2 remaining shots, what you think of this WrestleMania? Where does it rank? And I don't mean that we need to rank all 39 of them, but higher end, middle of the range, worst of the worst.
I'd say about in the 75 percentile. Night 2 brought it down for me, and I was thinking about would I really like WrestleMania to be 2 nights? And truthfully, no. If they would do it all in one day, let's just do that. They start the first part of it at noon and do a 2 or 3 hour show, and then they have their 2 to 3 hour kickoff, and then they do a second show. I think that would be way better. It's one day, get it out of the way. They don't have to do it as long as 6 hours, but at the same time, if you do it right, it'll be interesting, it'll be captivating. And it kind of makes it like Super Bowl Sunday, and that's what this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be the day for wrestling fans. I think 2 nights is a lot harder, and truthfully, night 1 made it worse for night 2 because it set the expectation of how good it was supposed to be, and night 2 was not nearly as good in any capacity, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. I will say, if you had to book it as a single show, even as a 7-hour show, I mean, you're still talking 12, 13 matches. And, I don't think every match that was on this show really deserved it. And I think some of the, well, even on the kickoff, I just, the thing about WrestleMania is it's supposed to be the culmination of everything. It's supposed to be all the hard work, all of the shots that has gotten me to a bottle that is this full, and here's one more. It's a culmination. It's a buildup. You're working towards something, and the problem is you get a lot of these multi-man matches that have nothing built up, or there's no purpose to them. Like the tag team fatal 4-way we had.
Both of them.
It's just putting people on the show, and it's like
they could have been on SmackDown.
Yeah, I would much rather see a match that has built up and had some drama. Because you look at the matches that were the best matches from this weekend. Your Rhea and Dominik. They've been building that for like 6 months. Like ever since the breakup, they have been building that match.
Yeah.
And it paid off. Worked well. The Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, sorry, the alcohol's making it hard for me to remember names and things, match. I mean, there was some history there with past WrestleManias. It built up into a nice grudge match. Mm-hmm. You took the very successful, hard-hitting match from Clash at the Castle of Sheamus and Gunther. You added in McIntyre to just punch it up a little bit, and you delivered an even better match. It's when you add in those sorts of kind of grudge matches and build that builds the show. Even this Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns match, decent. From what I hear, it's that. And I think the problem that you get, though, is you get a lot of these matches where it's like, we didn't think of anything, we don't have anything, we didn't build anything, we're just going to throw bodies onto the show, are the weak links. They're the things that don't work. Mm-hmm. But then you also just have the stuff that just it doesn't click. The Brock Lesnar Omos fight. At
least that one was less than 6 minutes.
Yeah, but it doesn't really work because it's Brock Lesnar, and he kind of works best when he's going for the title. And it's the old Kevin Owens had the gimmick of prize fighter. I don't know if you remember this gimmick. Yep. But it was basically the idea, and he would do this where he's like, I'm not fighting you because I only fight if it's for money. He played it up. It's only if it's for money or kind of the title. It's the only time he fights. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what Brock should be doing. Brock doesn't need a random rivalry with a guy. And I understand it's like these two monsters of men coming together. The problem is that Omos has not been that dominant. So
he beats up jobbers on SmackDown.
Yeah. It doesn't work, because it's It's not there. I mean, in theory, it's these two big forces coming together, but it doesn't work because there's nothing. There's no reason why these two forces are moving to clash.
Yeah.
You know, in the story writing world, there's no conflict. We're basically saying we want you guys to fight because we think you guys should fight, and we don't have anything. We don't have a reason. Why are you guys fighting? You're big. You're strong.
We want to be on WrestleMania.
Yeah. I think that's what brings the WrestleMania down, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, it's you have so much of this filler. It's why I actually kind of like the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. It gets a lot of people on the show, and it's kind of fun. It's a perfect kickoff thing, and you know what? We don't, you know, it's all right. Like, it is what it is. It's, you know, I don't even mind the Miz matches. You know, it's something. It's filler. It's a little comedy. It's a little change. You know, a palate cleanser from the high drama of earlier in the night. I'm okay with that. But yeah, I think that in going to the 2-night format, we just see a lot more filler and junk that doesn't live up to WrestleMania quality matches. And I would be in favor of cutting some of that, going back to a one-day show. Because it was, you said, the Super Bowl of weekend, and that's what it used to be. And, you know, you and I, we used to get together. We'd order food. I'd bring appetizers. We would have, I mean, that was our Super Bowl Sunday, because neither of us are really football fans.
Uh-huh.
You know, but this was our Super Bowl Sunday, and we'd get together, we'd eat food, we'd drink beer, and we'd watch wrestling. And, you know, it was a celebration of the best for that year. And
it was a build-up for me. It was very, very exciting. I always got super excited for WrestleMania weekend. If I had to work the weekend, I would take that week, at least that day off, so we could have the day. And they've taken that away from us.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where how I would rank this, you know, it's probably on the lower high end. I'll put it that way. It's not the best WrestleMania. It's not the worst WrestleMania. It's probably better than some of the other WrestleManias. Mm-hmm. It's the low to high end. And I think there were a handful of really good matches on here that probably made it interesting. I know I got a handful that I want to go and check out. Not tonight. You know, that's one thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, anyway, that's enough waxing poetic and stalling. And hey, my final shot of WrestleMania weekend.
Congratulations.
Cheers to you, and thanks for hanging out for 2 nights.
Yeah. I do want to mention with Mania, and it's my problem that I have with the other premium live events as well, is all of the stalling, the video packages, the unnecessary features. There's too much garbage shoved in. And from my understanding, the way that it's done because of that is that the people who pay for the no commercial feed, they put promos in. And then the people who pay the $4.99 a month for the ad version get commercials in that section. Okay, but there's still other promos and other sponsorships that you have to fit in. So instead of double dipping and putting ads for everybody and then ads for some after or before, figure it out. I mean, you're making enough money on this stuff anyway. Last year, or what was it, 2021, WWE posted a what was it, $10 billion profit or some stupid number, $2 billion, whatever it was. it was a lot of money that I will never even know what to do with in my life. And there it is. So cut it shorter, cut it out. Figure, I would be okay with the fun vignettes in the back, right? Where they're going around and seeing who's back there, and they have some funny shtick. You know, you always remember Mean Gene going around and running into Mae Young or something like that, right? Bring that stuff back. I loved that. That was hilarious, and it's a great palate cleanser between matches.
Well, Kidder, we have been talking for quite a while over the past 3 nights. And I say 3 nights. Yes, WrestleMania was 2 nights. Dear viewer, however, Kidder and I also recorded an episode of our main show, Beer Blues MBS, on Friday night. So, I mean, Kidder, I've seen you more than I've seen my wife this weekend. And, yeah, take that. For anyone who's curious, I got about a third of the bottle left. So, for the next time I do this. But anyway, we've been talking for quite a while. It's time we wrap this up so I can go to bed and hopefully sober up so I can go to work tomorrow. And with that brings us, dear viewer, to how we end every show. And that is with a reading of the cheap plugs. And because Kidder has been talking all night,
you don't want to hear me anymore.
Yeah. It is my turn to do the speaking. It is my turn to try and make it through the cheap plugs, even though I am not a radio professional and have been drinking heavily most of the night. So here we go. Welcome to the comedy portion of the show, the cheap plugs. Let's start with the basics. You can find us at our home in cyberspace, beerbluesbs.com. That's right, beerbluesbs.com. I'm supposed to say this 6 times, so beerbluesbs.com is where you can find out all about the show. Links to everywhere we are on the internet. And, hey, there's some other cool stuff you can do there. Like you can hit the old merch button and go to our store and buy some merch. We have great merch. It's, everything.
Wearing.
Yes. If you haven't picked up, I am rocking the It's Been a Week shirt. Got in the long sleeve. Very comfortable. As I play with my camera, so I have to look to make sure I adjust it back. Kidder's also got the classic Kidder Old Fashioned. I had to look to see what glass he was actually sneaking up there. That's right. If you ever wanted to learn how to make it old fashioned, here's Kidder's recipe. Please note the no cherry involved. Kidder, I was at a fancy place this last week, and they had an old fashioned on the menu. And I thought about trying it just for you. It was a peach old fashioned, and that just seemed like it was messing with stuff. I will say, no cherry was listed on the ingredients, so
I'd hope not. With
they got that part right.
Yeah.
Anyway, to get back on topic, we have great merch on there. You can just buy pint glasses like the classic logo pint glass like Kidder is showing off. Or, hey, maybe you want to support some of our side projects like Howard's Game of Wonder. Or maybe you're just looking for that weird gift to give that family member that you don't know what to get for Christmas. And you can do that with a shower curtain featuring the mug of our favorite guest, or at least favorite target,
Minister
Big
of
D.
Trolling.
Eating an ice cream cookie. That's right. The cookie gnome himself. That's right. He's not going to watch this, so I'm safe saying that. Yes. All sorts of things. So make sure you check it out. Also at beerbluesandbs.com. I close. It's 4 or 5. You can also buy us a beer. It is the cheap way of supporting the show. It's throwing a few bucks in our jar so that we can purchase, great quality. Oh, wait. Sorry. Wrong one. Great quality alcohol that we drink on this show on a regular basis. That was sarcasm, Kidder. That was purely sarcasm. Let's see. What else can I tell you? Yes. If you're watching the live stream of this, we are streaming these wrestling reviews on YouTube, but it's also the home to all of our other content, such as our main show, Beers, Blues, and BS. So make sure to go over, like, subscribe, and make sure that you catch all of that great content where you can sit down with two good brothers and enjoy. Hey, you want to know what we're up to? Well, guess what? One of us is better at updating social media, and that's Kidder. And that leads me to say we have a Facebook page. We post some stuff like, hey, if we're going to be streaming, that's where you can find out when. So make sure you check out our Facebook page. Make sure you like, you follow, so that you get all the updates. And or if you're with the cool kids and you're on the gram, the Instagram, we're there too. So make sure you, again, like, follow. I don't know how Instagram works. I'm the old crotchety guy on this show. Let's see. We've talked about the YouTubes. We talked about the Facebook. I guess we can talk about the audio version of this show. That's right. Maybe you don't want to see our happy smiling faces. I mean, that's okay. I mean, we definitely have faces for radio. But if you want to take us with you, say on a road trip, you can download the audio version of the podcast anywhere you get your podcast. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all of those. Stitcher, we're there. YouTube podcast, we're there. So make sure you look for us. You hit subscribe, you get those downloads now. And the next time you're on a long car trip, we're bringing the entertainment to you. And yeah, I think that's it. I think I got them all. I mean, if not, Kidder will correct me after the show. It's okay. You know, we'll get there. We'll get this done. But as Kidder would often tell you, make sure to keep your glass half full. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, because I hear there might be free beer. And hey, we'll catch you down that old live screaming Tuscan highway. For that, he's the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. I'm just some guy named Howard Blues who's been drinking way too much tonight. And you're you. So thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.
Yes.
Kidder, I forget. I get to say this. Roll that beautiful end footage. Ending clip.